Picture this. You meet someone, and for the first time in your life, the chemistry isn't just physical. It is electric. It feels spiritual. It feels like the entire universe conspired to bring the two of you to the same place, at the same time. You feel seen in a way you never have before. You think to yourself, finally, this is it. This is the person I have been waiting for. But then, just as the connection reaches its peak, something inexplicable happens. They pull away, they turn cold, or perhaps, suddenly, you are the one who feels an overwhelming urge to run. The communication stops. The warmth turns into ice. You are left confused, heartbroken, and spiraling into self-doubt. Asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Was it all in my head? Conventional dating advice will tell you that if they walked away, they simply didn't care. They will tell you to move on, that he or she just wasn't that into you. But what if I told you that is a lie? What if the brutal rejection you are feeling isn't a sign that it was fake, but actually the ultimate proof that the connection was real? According to the psychology of Carl Jung, this painful separation is not an accident. It is a mechanism. There is a profound, spiritual reason why true love, the kind that shakes your soul, almost always begins with rejection. It is not because the love isn't there. It is because the love is too big for your current reality to hold. To understand this paradox, we first have to understand the architect of your reality, the ego. We often think of the ego as arrogance or pride. But in Jungian psychology, the ego is simply the center of your conscious field. It is the part of you that says, I am me, and you are you. The ego's primary job is not to make you happy. Its job is to keep you safe. And to the ego, safety means control. It means predictability. It means maintaining the boundaries of who you think you are. Now, imagine what happens when you encounter true love. I'm not talking about a simple crush or a convenient partnership. I'm talking about a soul connection. This kind of love is a massive, chaotic, tidal wave of energy. It threatens to dissolve boundaries. It demands vulnerability. It asks you to merge with another. To the soul, this feels like homecoming. But to the ego, this feels like death. The ego perceives this intense connection as a threat to its existence. It feels the walls of its identity crumbling under the weight of this new, powerful energy. And so, it panics. It triggers a primal fight or flight response. Think of it like this. If you have spent your entire life in a dark cave, and suddenly someone forces you to look directly at the midday sun, what happens? You don't marvel at the light. You scream. You cover your eyes. You run back into the darkness. The light is beautiful, yes, but to eyes that are not adjusted, it is blinding. It is painful. This is exactly what happens in the early stages of a profound connection. When someone pushes you away after a moment of intense intimacy, they are not necessarily rejecting you. They are squinting against the light. Their ego is screaming, too much, too close, too dangerous. The coldness, the ghosting, the sudden change in behavior, these are survival tactics. They are the ego's way of trying to regain control when it feels itself drowning in the ocean of connection. The person running away is terrified of the very thing they desire most. They run because the love is demanding that they change, and the ego hates change more than anything else in the world. But there is a second, deeper layer to this rejection, and it involves one of Carl Jung's most fascinating concepts, the anima and the animus. Jung taught that within every man, there is a feminine inner personality called the anima, and within every woman, there is a masculine inner personality called the animus. These are the unconscious images of the perfect partner that we carry within our psyche from birth. They are idealized, divine, and flawless. When we fall in love, especially in that dizzying, euphoric beginning stage, we are not actually seeing the other person. We are projecting this internal image, this anima or animus, onto them. We treat them like a screen upon which we play the movie of our ideal love. You think you are loving them, but in reality, Your ego is loving the projection of itself. This is why the beginning of a relationship feels so magical. It is narcissistic. You are falling in love with a fantasy that reflects your own desires back to you. Everything seems perfect because you are not interacting with a human being. You are interacting with a hologram. So, why must rejection happen? Rejection is the moment the hologram flickers and dies. Rejection happens when the real person does something that contradicts the fantasy you projected onto them. They show a flaw. They act out of character. They disappoint you. Or they simply refuse to play the role your ego assigned to them. This fall from grace is painful. It feels like a betrayal. But Jung would argue that this moment is absolutely necessary. You cannot love a projection. As long as you are in love with the idea of a person, you are not loving the person. The rejection shatters the illusion. It breaks the projection. It is the universe's way of stripping away the fantasy, so that eventually you can see the naked, imperfect human soul underneath. The pain you feel during this rejection phase is not the pain of losing love. It is the pain of your ego losing its favorite toy. It is the death of the honeymoon phase. Many people give up here. They think, "Oh, the magic is gone. They aren't who I thought they were," and they leave to find a new screen for their projection. But for a true love connection, this destruction of the illusion is the gateway. The rejection forces you to withdraw your energy, take back your projection, and realize that the divine love you were looking for was never out there in the perfect partner. It was hidden inside the messy reality of a human connection. Now we arrive at the most difficult truth of all. The reason rejection stings so badly is not because of what the other person is doing, but because of what they are showing you about yourself. This brings us to the concept of the shadow and the mirror effect. Have you ever noticed that in great stories, enemies often become lovers, or that the person you are most drawn to is also the person who knows exactly how to push your buttons? This is not a coincidence. This is the mirror effect. A soulmate acts as a flawless mirror. They reflect back to you everything that is inside you, not just the light, but the dark. They reflect your shadow. The shadow consists of all the parts of yourself that you have rejected, denied, or hidden away. Your insecurity, your neediness, your anger, your fear of abandonment, your unworthiness. When you are rejected by your partner, or when you feel the urge to reject them, look closely. What are you actually rejecting? If they are being emotionally unavailable, are they reflecting your own inner belief that you are unworthy of attention? If they are being clinging and needy, are they reflecting the part of you that you judge as weak? If they are angry, are they reflecting the rage you have suppressed for years? We reject in others what we cannot accept in ourselves. The conflict in the relationship is merely an externalization of the war happening inside your own psyche. Let's say you have a deep, unconscious belief that says, "I am not good enough." You might hide this belief with overachievement or perfectionism. Then, you meet your soulmate. Because they connect with you so deeply, they bypass your defenses and trigger that core wound. They might do something small, forget a text, cancel a date, and suddenly you feel a massive, disproportionate wave of pain. You feel rejected. But in reality, they just held up the mirror. They revealed the shadow of, "I am not good enough," that was already there. Your ego hates looking at this shadow, so it blames the mirror. It says, "You are hurting me. You are rejecting me." But the spiritual truth is, you are rejecting yourself. This is why the rejection phase in true love is unavoidable. The purpose of this relationship is not just to give you warm fuzzies. Its purpose is to make you whole. And you cannot be whole until you integrate your shadow. The partner is the catalyst. They trigger your deepest wounds not to hurt you, but to bring them to the surface so they can be healed. When you run from them, or when they run from you, it is essentially a flight from the mirror. It is the refusal to look at the shadow. But the spiritual paradox is that you cannot experience true union with another until you stop rejecting these parts of yourself. As long as you reject your own shadow, you will perceive the other person's behavior as rejection. So, where does this leave us? If rejection is inevitable, is the relationship doomed? No. This brings us to the final stage, the initiation. In ancient cultures, a boy could not become a man without an initiation, a painful trial, a walk through fire, a test of endurance. True love is an initiation for the soul. The phase of rejection is that fire. The rejection is designed to burn away the ego's attachments. It strips you of your pride, your expectations, and your need for control. It forces you into the dark night of the soul. It forces you to sit with your own void, your own loneliness, without using the other person as a drug to numb the pain. This is the ego death that mystics talk about. For the union to be born, the version of you that is dependent, fearful, and projecting needs to die. The rejection is the sword that kills that version of you. However, a crucial distinction must be made here. There is a difference between divine rejection and toxic abuse. Divine rejection forces you to grow. It pushes you toward independence and self-love. Abuse just diminishes you. If a situation is physically or emotionally dangerous, that is not an initiation. That is a warning to leave. But if the rejection is simply the painful silence of separation that triggers your own growth, that is the initiation. When you stop chasing the runner and start tending to your own garden, something shifts. When you accept your own shadow, the mirror stops reflecting conflict. When you stop needing the other person to complete you, you become safe for them to approach. You become a space of love, rather than a space of hunger. The spiritual reason why true love starts with rejection is simply this. You are being asked to find the love inside yourself first. The universe breaks your heart so that it can finally open. So, if you are in the midst of this painful separation, do not despair. Do not chase. Do not force. Understand that this distance is not a punishment. It is a sacred space created for your transformation. The rejection is not a no from the universe. It is a not yet. It is a request for you to integrate your shadow, calm your ego, and prepare your vessel for a love that is real, grounded, and lasting. The only way out is in. If this video helped you see your pain in a new light, please hit the like button. It signals to the algorithm that this message needs to reach other broken hearts out there. And if you are ready to stop running and start the real work, subscribe to the channel. We dive deep into the psychology of the soul every single week, and I don't want you to face this journey alone. Finally, I want you to make a commitment to yourself right now. Don't just close this video and go back to the noise. I accept the mirror. I am ready to heal. Let that comment be your declaration to the universe that you are done chasing, and you are ready to become the person you are meant to be. I read every single one of your stories, and I am rooting for you. See you in the next video.